So, Aurora here. I've decided to make a video for the eclipse. I kind of debated about making one for a little while, and that's sort of been the theme of this day, is going through this inner conflict or inner indecision, inner debate that seems very much like a battle with engaging into the mind and into all of the control mechanisms that our mind kind of creates for us, and sort of feeling like stuck with that, and then also into just being present and feeling the many different emotions and things that are coming to the surface at this point. So everything's sort of been like, ooh, push and pull, but it's running out, and I want to start off this video reading a poem, which is by the Wingmakers, James Mahu, and the poem is called Language of Innocence. So, when a river is frozen, underneath remains a current. When the sky is absent of color, beneath the globe another world comes to light. When my heart is alone, somewhere another heart beats my name, in code that only paradise can hear. Is my heart deaf, or is there no one who can speak the language of innocence? Innocence when words suffer meaning and gallop away in its presence. I've seen it, I've felt it. I've loosened its secrets in the blushing skin when upturned eyes witness its home and never turn away. I never turn away. There is this world of slumbering hearts and hollow love, but it cannot carry me to daylight. My craving is so different, and it can never be turned away. I love that poem. I love all their poems. You can find them on wingmakers.com under poetry. They're all amazing, and there's a lot of art and different places for you to dip your feet into if you so desire. So I guess I'll start off a little bit about my day and the emotions, again with the push and pull that I've been experiencing, and a lot of, I just had a reading, and a lot of what came up was, again, about how what I'm giving out and the events or actions that I'm taking, or that are taking place in my life, same thing, are very, like, I'm struggling with it, and I have all of this, like, suppression and all of this, kind of, like, burdening coming on, because I'm still trying to control the outcome. I'm still trying to understand things before I'm meant to understand them, or control the way that they are, and if they're not going to be the way that I'm trying to control them to be, I'm trying to, push them out, and just, like, I don't know, kind of force reality instead of exist in reality. And in itself, then I lose my own power. I lose my creative capabilities and understanding of the innate fact that this reality is, it's not necessary to control it. It already is existing as me, as reality, as where I am. And it's an interesting thing, but it came up that there was all this, like, strength and all this beauty and all this transformation that's trying to happen, but it's like it keeps coming back into the mental, like, anxiety or control or fear, or trying to define or just label something and induce that separation, instead of let the situation or circumstance or feelings that I'm experiencing to be expressed or to be felt or to be, like, kind of risen above or molded through or whatever it is. And it's interesting because here I have this idea and this process and this thing that I'm going through, but there's also another philosophy that I'm following that I want to speak a little bit about, and if I organically have anything to elaborate on it, I probably will, but at this point I'm just sort of going to go through it. It's like a manifesto of the sovereign integral, and the sovereign integral is defined as, okay, it's not a direct definition, but I'll read what it says here. So, it is a difficult abstraction for time-bound humans to understand, but the sovereign integral consciousness is the fusion of the entity consciousness in the world of time-space. All expressions and experiences of the human instrument, collectively, are deposited within the sovereign integral state of consciousness, and it is precisely this that imprints upon the human instrument of the individual. It is a state of consciousness whereby the entity and all of its various forms of expression and perception are integrated as a conscious whole, as conscious wholeness. The sovereign integral is the core identity of the individual. It is the convergence of the experiential worlds of time and space with the innate knowledge of First Source divested within the individual at the time of its birth. It is the gathering of all created experiences and all instinctive knowledge. And then as I get into, it's going to be really funny actually, because as I get into reading the manifesto, you'll see how this process and this battle and this inner conflict or control or trying to heal and get better and, you know, get to some place and, you know, become something better or become more of who I am, or like, you know, this constant searching and reaching and trying whatever that we go through in this spiritual struggle, it seems, is more or less irrelevant according to the Sovereign Integral Manifesto. So here it is. The Manifesto of the Sovereign Integral. Okay. Just gonna take a moment here. There is no space more sacred or powerful than another. There's no being more spiritual than another. And this one's funny because I don't know about anybody else, but it's so easy to put other people, especially like spiritual teachers or our own personal guru or whatever teacher in whatever form, or any person in our life, at this other level where we feel that they've reached a place where we haven't reached yet. And so then it becomes this lesson in this process that we have to get through, and we have to do all these things and, you know, meditate or like have our rituals or ground or whatever in order to become this ideal that we have, that we believe is like somehow better than us, which induces separation in itself. So it's interesting. There's no thing more divine than another. There's no tool or technique that accelerates the unfoldment of consciousness. There is no truth that can be written, spoken, or thought unless it is conceived and expressed through the language of unity. First Source transcends wholeness. All the fragments of philosophy, science, and religion, even when unified, represent but a fractional picture of reality. The mysteries of your world will never be understood through inquiries that are based on the language of the mind. Perfection is a concept of wholeness misunderstood. The conditions of peace, beauty, love, and security are merely signposts to wholeness, as are their counterparts. And that one I like because I firmly believe that there's no point in struggling to develop a new world, or struggling to create a new world, or struggling to end war, or fight war, or change war, or save something, you know, because that itself, I've always believed, induces the polarity and induces the existence of that conflict again, or that apparent polarity. To live in the wholeness perspective is to value all things as they are, and to bear witness to the unity of their expression. No being requires knowledge other than their unique wholeness perspective. And this one I love, because, I don't know, just to switch over and begin to understand, to comprehend that every answer, every question, everything that we think we're searching for, we try to search for, we seem to be looking and finding and losing and, you know, dancing with in this external reality, is always within us. Because ultimately, actually, all of this external reality, this illusion, this Maya, is this part. This is a representation of this separated kind of search for unity, living in a physical form and living in the illusion of separation. There is no hierarchy. There is only one that is all. There's no model of existence outside of the model of self-creation, which there it is there. So there is no model of existence outside the model of self-creation. So there it is. That's the power. That's the power of being the creator of your reality and also being the creation of your reality. There's no difference. There is no actual distinguishing. But we do. We operate in a place, a culture, a time, a matrix, a construct, a program, a reality, or an illusion that shows us and teaches us and tells us to experience ourselves in that separation and in that understanding, that victimhood of being of the world and having to work your way through it and figure it out and understand yourself and, you know, like, follow along in whatever everybody else is doing. True freedom is access to First Source, and First Source would be access to the understanding of you being the beginning of everything. First Source, the source of all, the source of your existence, the source of being that creator of your existence and of our collective experience, which is our experience. It's amazing. A being cannot get closer to First Source than in the existence of a moment. The sovereign being and First Source are reality. Having a physical body does not limit you, any more than having legs on an eagle prevents it from flying. So I see that's a really big thing right now is there's this whole like search for healing and search for grounding and search for fixing, even in a holistic way, all of these ailments and all of these issues and all of these blockages and all of this, like, you know, this stuff that's going on in our body that we just like, we're like, oh, if I can clear my heart chakra, then everything's gonna be okay and I'll like know what I'm supposed to do with my life and I'll get there and everything will, you know. But in reality, that does keep us in that time-based structure, which is in a structure of separation, because time is separation. Understanding that presence is the only thing that is actually real. And that the illusion is the fact that there's something in a future time, in another moment, which doesn't even exist, where something's going to be better and you're going to be able to understand yourself, or you're going to be able to see how things are. It's mind-blowing. It's interesting. All conditions of existence are facets of the one condition of reality and of unlimited self-creation. There's no pathway to First Source. So stop seeking. But not really. I mean, it's true. We're all seeking so externally. I seek externally. We all see it. All of us doing it. And in fact, I mean, it's part of that play. It's part of that beautiful thing that's going on and existing as human beings. But it's also, you know, that's shifting. To understand that you're actually creating everything. To really, not partially or fragmentally or at times or be able to articulate it, you know, but to really, really start to embody that. I think that's where the real changes happen. And it's not about saving ourselves or saving our species or saving our world. It's about becoming what we are. Unfoldment, evolution, growth, decay cycles, and transformation are all bound to the same premise of separation in linear time. So that's what I was saying. in the construct of time, you know, we are growing, unfolding, embodying, or we're decaying, aging, you know, like all of it. It's all still part of the illusion. It's so interesting to think about that, though. To think, wow, this whole like growth-suited, aimed structure of transformation and enlightenment and trying to reach some beautiful space where I understand myself and I understand where I'm going and I understand things so much more deep than I had before. Or feeling victimized by the fact that time has just run away and getting older and you haven't done anything you wish you had done, and, you know, feeling that regret or feeling that letdown or that sorrow about losing something. It still is part of this structure that induces separation and takes us away from being just the consciousness and being that creator and being exactly what we are, and not identifying with ourselves in this time-limited illusion, Maya structure of being. The hidden harmony is found with joy, while the obvious brings indifference. The farther you enter into truth, the deeper your conviction for truth must be. And there is understanding of the world precisely to the degree that there is understanding of the self. There was a little passage I was going to see if I could find to continue on, but I'm not sure if I recall exactly where it was. So if I don't find it in a second, I just won't read it at this time. Yeah, I think I'm gonna skip it for now. It's a lot of content, and I think even, I mean, I could go ahead and try to explain all of those things in the manifesto, but I don't think that's the point. I think you have to, like, really, I don't know, I have to read them a lot. And I think the more I read them, the more it absorbs in and it registers. Or remember it, you know. What I think it really helps, I mean, it was sort of the perfect thing to find right after, you know, experiencing that crazy intensity of, like, feeling suppressed and feeling blocked and feeling confused and conflicted and very in the mind and very in fear or in love or in this, like, intense emotion that just, like, would kind of, like, you know, that's what it felt like. So the emotions were, like, the different emotions I was experiencing, they'd all kind of be like, doom, 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 you know, so fragmented. And I would be just like, I mean, through the day, I'm just like, oh, okay, now I'm a little bit angry. And then, you know, a few hours later, now I feel really sad and I just want to cry. Like, and then a little bit later, I'm feeling like ready to get through the process and ready to become who I am and ready to know what I'm supposed to be doing. And, you know, again, finding this, I'm going, okay, wow, like, just, you know, instead, it's like I want to integrate it all, bring it all, and stop seeing, like, a difference or stop seeing a time-oriented, like, perspective of it, like, of, okay, so this was then, this was then, this was then. They're all the same, and they're all just part of this wholeness of experience, and trying to separate them or trying to figure out why they're transitioning the way they are, or why each one is specifically happening for what reason, and then I go and I try to find a person or I try to find an event that is going to, like, let me know why I'm experiencing whatever emotion I'm experiencing, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And look at me, I kind of look like I'm crazy. Like, this is the internal process that's happening, and, you know, it's not like that. You just want it all. You know, I think really continuously, constantly feeling, understanding, and moving with the dance of life, the dance that the actor, the actress that you have to be, or you are, in form, in this world of form. But also seeing the innate unity of everything. And the deeper you understand yourself, the deeper you go in, the deeper you see and know how you move and how the reality that you're existing in moves with that movement that's going on within you. you find presence. You know, it's no more like, wow! It's like you find that presence. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share. So, happy solar eclipse, supermoon, new moon day. Just be with it. I think is my end here. Just be with it.